Wala siyang ano. Maliit pa rin, te? Nasa screen?
Ayos na. Ayos lang.
Sige. Kasi wala yung ano, full view niya eh. Slideshow naka-grayed out. My God. Okay. Once again, good evening everybody, and my apology for the technical. Medyo hindi yata lumalabas ng nag-slide view yung slideshow yung screen. Naka-grayed out lahat ng slides. Ayan. So, we will now be understanding the significance and process of the blessing. So, in this, kumbaga, alamin natin, bakit nga ba tayo kailangan natin mag-receive ng blessing? Okay. Ano bang purpose ni Father, and why do we need to let our children also receive the blessing? Okay, so first of all is we all know that this is a special gift that we have received from Heavenly Parent through our true parents. Kasi ito lang yung tanging paraan so that we can be reconnected from to our original lineage. Kasi kung titingnan natin sa divine principle, we did not really originated from Satan's lineage. Okay? Actually hindi talagang kinidnap lang tayo ni Satan to be away from God, and then in-educate tayo ng false education centering on developing our behavior and even our personality, including our relationship together. Kaya ito yung pinaka-precious na binigay sa atin ni God through our true parents, to receive the blessing and once again be reconnected to our original lineage. So bakit nga ba kailangan natin mag-receive ng blessing? Okay? So ito yung pag-usapan natin this presentation. And we all know that when we talk about the blessing, this is a ano tawag nun? Ito yung pamamaraan para sa ganun, we can go back to the original position after Adam and Eve fell in the Garden of Eden. Okay? Kasi alam natin that from through Adam and Eve's relationship, nag-start ang life ng man and woman with a self-centered relationship. Di po ba? Na after they followed Satan, sabi nga ni God, do not eat the fruit. Pero sabi ni Satan, you can eat the fruit. And once you will eat it, you will become better than God. Kaya kung titignan natin, hindi yung parent ang nag-influence kay Adam and Eve to develop relationship, but it is no other than si Satan. Or usually pagka nagle-lecture ako sa mga kabataan, sabi ko, sino bang sinunod nila Adam and Eve? Yung magulang o yung kapitbahay? And it's very clear na it is the kapitbahay. Na kung i-relate natin sa pamilya natin ngayon, sa influence ng environment, many marriages, it's not because of the approval of the parents, but it is because of the influence of the people surrounding the child. Kaya nangyari, ikakasal ako dahil gusto ko siya. Kasi mahal niya ako. Parang in between them lang. And that is what we call self-centered marriage. Okay? And ito yung nawala ng authority si God in the very beginning because He was not the one who solemnized or even give approval for the relationship of Adam and Eve. And this needed to be restored back. Okay? Dapat nga, in the very beginning, si God na yung magbigay ng authority kina Adam and Eve to relate with one another. Pero for 6,000 years, it is not God, but it is Satan who is continuously influencing the relationship of man and woman. Okay? And through our two parents, okay, initiating a new pattern centering on the influence of the parents, preparing for the marriage of the children, okay, through changing the blood lineage and removal of the influence of the original sin, dito magkakaroon ng panimula ang tinatawag nating relationship of man and woman. Magkaroon ng new beginning of a relationship. Na itong new beginning na to, it is the starting point of a new history of a relationship of a man and woman centering on the original pattern na it is should be influenced by God. Kaya bago pa man pupunta sa panahon na to or pupunta into a relationship, there must be a preparation for it. Preparation to eliminate any influence of Satan, so that when we will be meeting together with a partner that is being prepared by God, we are ready to accept anybody and even go beyond our cultural background or even our nationality. Na ito yung sinasabi natin na rebirth or blessing for the first generation. Now, this is also the beginning of the blessing of a God-centered marriage, wherein God is directly involved in terms of relating or uniting man and woman through our true parents. And that is for the first generation. And pag sinabi natin for second generation, it is not anymore a rebirth, but it is the expansion or inheritance of a God-centered marriage. Kaya nga sabi ni Father, all second generation, they must receive the blessing. It's not for rebirth, it's not for removal of the original sin, but it is for the expansion of a God-centered marriage. Okay? Now, once we can have this, that's the time that we could continue to grow together as husband and wife, together with our family. And ultimately, start a new beginning of history of becoming a God-centered family na yun yung fulfillment ng second blessing. Okay? Kaya sabi ni Father, if a blessed family does not realize the meaning of the blessing, the family will regret for eternity. Okay? Bakit? Kasi we cannot see a better next generation. Okay? It's really important that we have to realize the meaning of the blessing. Ano nga bang meaning ng blessing? Okay? Kung titignan natin, if we will be starting from the origin, ito yung ideal ni God in terms of creation and marriage. God created the archangel, Adam and Eve. Okay? These are the first creation of God to represent the spirit world and the physical world together, centering on the archangel and centering on Adam and Eve. wherein the archangels stand as the admirer and helper of God for God, and their main responsibility is to attend, protect, nurture Adam and Eve until their marriage. So yun yung responsibility ng three archangel, to help God to educate and protect Adam and Eve and attend Adam and Eve until they are ready to be blessed by God. Hindi dapat sila na mag-influence kay Adam and Eve to relate together in terms of matrimonial ceremony. Okay? And ang position ni Adam is God's beloved child. He is God's body. And God dominates the spirit world, the physical world through Adam. Kaya kung titignan natin, Adam is the vertical. Kaya sinasabi na ang ama ang haligi ng tahanan. He will be the one to connect vertically. And Eve is the one to develop and substantiate the ideal of God's love in horizontal plane, standing as God's wife. Okay? The wife of God. Kaya nga pagka, di ba yung kinakasal, when two become one. So hindi na lang maging dalawa, but they will become completely one together. One body, one flesh, one mind. So that both vertical and horizontal can be completely united together. And that can happen through the unity of Adam and Eve in the matrimony of marriage. Kaya nga, ang ginawa ni God is, God prepared Adam and Eve. God let Adam and Eve grow together. Okay? They coexist together as a man and woman. Kaya nga, the reason of existence of man and woman, a man and a woman are born for the sake of each other. They are the one to complete each other. Kaya nga sabi ni God, it's not good for man to be alone. He needed a partner, a counterpart. Kaya God created woman after he completed the creation of Adam. And a man and a woman are different from each other, both physically and in character. But even though they are different from each other, they are correlatively harmony. Bakit? Because it is the completion of one another. Yung kulang sa lalaki, pupunuan ng babae. Yung kulang sa babae, pupunuan ng lalaki. Tama po ba? Kaya sinasabi na it is a half of each other. Okay? Man is just half of God's personality. Woman is another half of God's personality. That's why the substantial image of God is when man and woman unite together in perfect harmony. And that is the substantialization of God's image here on earth. Kaya yung differences ng men and woman is not to separate each other, but they have to be in correlative, harmonious relationship together. Kaya nga, a man and a woman cannot accomplish their purpose without each other. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na babae kung walang counterpart na lalaki. Hindi mo rin pwedeng sabihin na lalaki kung wala siyang point of reference na babae. Because the meaning of a man and woman is dependent on either man or a woman, centering on masculine and feminine characteristics of a man and a woman. And centering on these differences, this should develop into a bigger, stronger relationship of what we call love. Appreciate each other and correlate with one another. Kaya Adam and Eve's love was to develop through their relationship with God in heart and with the natural world as their teacher. They first should have fully nurtured their love as brothers and sisters. And so that is the development of love, starting from a innocent of each other until they discover the differences, and that after they discover the differences, they must look at each other as true brothers and sisters so that they can appreciate the difference of man and woman until they have that emotional sensitivity of completely united together, willing to sacrifice with one another. And that is the essence of what we call love. Tama po ba? Does it make sense po? Any thumbs up para baka na-disconnect na po ako?
Yes.
Yan. Di po ba? Kaya nga kung titignan natin, hindi ka agad mag-asawa pagkapanganak. But it goes to a relationship of a brothers and sisters. Na itong brothers and sisters na to is looking at the difference of men and woman but appreciating to complete each other. Ng endpoint is, it will lead towards a matrimony of marriage, centering on the kanino sentro. It should be based on God's purpose and God's direction. Okay? Kaya whether we like it or not, Adam and Eve should perfect their love. And when it would be, kailan yung perfection of their love? When they can sacrifice to each other unconditionally. When they are willing to give up everything for the sake of relating with one another harmoniously and overcoming the differences of each other. And that is the time that we say that the perfection of love happens between man and woman. And nagkakaroon ng meaning yan once it will go into what we call a harmonious relationship of establishing establishing a proper give and receive action, and it is a constant experience of unconditional giving towards each other. And that is what we call marriage. Kaya nga, the perfection of love through the marriage of Adam and Eve is also the appearance of God's love here on earth. And conjugal love is the representative or summary of all kinds of love. Kasi ito yung pagka meron kang hindi makitang magandang makitang hindi maganda sa partner mo, you look at it as your child, even as your friend. So ibig sabihin, you can adjust so that you can still maintain a harmonious relationship together. And that is God's purpose of marriage. And that is also the perfection of love of a man and a woman. And once that will happen, that is the time that the original family and the perfection of the ideal of creation can be established here on earth. Why? Because children are conceived when the conjugal horizontal love of Adam and Eve are united with their vertical love with God. Adam and Eve stand the position of horizontal parents to their children, and that's the time that God stand the position of vertical parent to the children. And the children are God's children as well as Adam and Eve's children. And that is the beginning of God's blood lineage. So ito yung pinaplano ni God na mangyari kina Adam and Eve. Ito yung gustong mangyari ni God kina Adam and Eve, centering on the three great blessings. They have to perfect first their characteristics to overcome the differences of other things that they can see around them, and constantly look at them as God's symbol and God's representative in either in the image or a symbol, representing either man or a woman, and all other things that is being created, that is created by God here on earth. Kaya nga, when God, vertical parent, and Adam and Eve, horizontal parent, are completely united, then Adam and Eve are called to be the true parents, because they are the true and substantial image of God here on earth. Therefore, the ideal of creation is accomplished through the ideal family, and the marriage of Adam and Eve and the perfection of God's ideal of creation are inseparable. So, ito yung inaantay ni God. Ito yung gustong makita ni God kina Adam and Eve. But we all know that along the way, when God gave the blessing to Adam and Eve, okay, when God rested, Adam and Eve did not fulfill their responsibility. It's because of the influence of Satan to them. Kaya nga pag sinabi nating marriage, relationship, in terms of absolute connection with one another, okay, that is a total investment of each other. Kaya ano ba yung total investment? Total investment for one spouse is the starting point of true love. A husband should love and serve his wife, and a wife should love and serve her husband. Kaya sinabi ng isang according to Dave Willis, the 7 laws of love, sabi niya, marriage is not 50-50, but divorce is a 50-50. Ano ibig sabihin ng marriage? Marriage has to be 100%, 100%. It's not splitting everything in half, but giving everything you got. Kaya sinabi niya, di ba? Ang pinagsama ng Diyos kailanman di mapaghiwalay ni naman kahit na kamatayan. Tapos sabi pa doon, when two become one, they will not become two separate anymore, but they will just become one flesh. So 100%. Okay? Everything should be combined together to become completely one. And that is the perfection of, that is the starting point of true love substantially here on earth. And the center of the establishment of a complete unity of man and woman is no other than the sexual organ or reproductive organ. Kaya nga, it is the most important of all organ. Why? It is because it is the culminating point of conjugal love and the origin of love, life, and lineage. Na pag sinabi nating love, it enables the husband and wife to unite together spiritually and physically. Complete unity of the physical world and the spiritual world. Na pag nag-unite ang husband and wife, it will create life and it will generate a next generation. And when pag nagkaroon ng creation of life and formation of next generation, this is the time that there will be a lineage that will inherit God's love and God's truth. And that is no other than the next generation that is the result of the unity of Adam and Eve, starting with God-centered love and formation of the next generation centering on creation of life. Kaya sexual organ is the most holy place in all creation. And to sustain or abuse this organ, it is the terrible act of destroying God's ideal of creation. Kaya nga, ito yung pinaka-worst. Even major religion, sinasabi na ito yung pinaka-worst na pwedeng gawin ng tao. Kaya nga, in the Ten Commandments, ito lang yung naulit ng 2 beses. Thou shall not covet thy neighbor's wife, and thou shall not commit adultery. Okay? So, yan po yung value ng sexual organ. It should be the substantialization or the expansion of God's lineage here on earth. Okay? Kaya nga, dapat, before it will go into a usage of sexual organ, there must be an absolute practice of unconditional giving. Kaya kung titignan natin, bago tayo mapunta into a relationship, we have to become mature first. Kaya ang development natin starting from receiving as a child, okay? Pagdating ng brothers and sisters, we needed to practice a lifestyle of absolute sharing. Sharing na hindi mo inaasahan na may babalik. Kasi you wanted to give unconditionally for the sake of your brothers and your sisters. And that is the starting point in order for you to live unconditionally sa magiging counterpart or magiging partner mo sa buhay. Okay? So ang training ground for you to accept anybody and everybody is what? It is through brothers and sisters. Hindi ko na sinasabi na everybody na maraming partner. It is a one man and one woman partnership. And that is the value of tinatawag natin highest moral in terms of relationship of a man and a woman. And that is the ideal of God centering on Adam and Eve. Na pag naging mature sila, naging responsible sila based on the development through the formation, growth, and completion na process of development, dyan yung tinatawag nating maturity and we can be responsible with one another. And that's the time that Adam and Eve are allowed to enjoy using their sexual organ with an exclusive partnership of one man and one woman. And that is what we call conjugal relationship. Okay? That's why conjugal relationship of love is allowed only between a blessed husband and wife. It is, pag sinabi nating blessed, it is approved by God. It is in God's original plan and God's original purpose, not based on individual purpose. That's why only God's blessing in marriage give conjugal love sanction. And that's the time that the inheritance of God's love, creatorship, and lordship will be inherited by the people or by the people as the result or as the fruit of the blessing that comes from God. Kaya kung titignan natin, marriage is the greatest blessing that we can receive from God. Okay? Kaya nga kung titignan natin, marriage is not just a piece of paper. It is not just a commitment of one man and one woman. But it is a commitment to multiply a characteristics that is based on a harmonious relationship of a man and woman, centering on the harmonious relationship of the masculine and feminine characteristics of God. Nang sa ganon, the children will inherit the same characteristics of harmony between brothers and sisters and prepare themselves to expand the same characteristics. Kaya nga, kung titignan natin yung second blessing, it is not just multiplication of children, but it is the expansion and inheritance of true love coming from God through the blessing that it given to Adam and Eve. Na sila dapat yung maging first model of a true parents. But we all know that Adam and Eve did not become true parents to humankind. But they became false parents, mimicking the characteristics of a true parents. Why? It's because of the fall of Adam and Eve. Na dito nagsimula yung unprincipled relationship. Bakit siya naging unprincipled? Unang-una, Eve had a relationship of conjugal love with the archangel. Nagkaroon siya ng emotional sensitivity and emotional connection with the archangel. And nung na-realize niya na hindi pala dapat si archangel ang kanyang partner, okay, she went to Adam and reconnect himself to Adam. And because of that, Adam and Eve shared conjugal love while they are still immature. They are not yet ready to be responsible with one another. Also, hindi pa sila ready to give completely. Okay? Priority yung magbigay more than just thinking of their individual satisfaction or even individual likes. But they are willing to sacrifice and 100% giving everything for the sake of developing a harmonious relationship with one another. Kaya tinatawag na immature. Ibig sabihin din, if nagkaroon siya ng two husband and nagkaroon siya ng two relationship of conjugal love. Ano yun? One with the archangel and one with Adam. Kaya ano naging consequence? Nagkaroon tayo ng tinatawag na human fall. God, human being, and angels and all things lost their original position and value because of the fall. And the failure of Adam and Eve's marriage destroys the value of true love, nawalan ng true family si God. And at the same time, yung ideal ni God sa creation was not realized because of the spiritual fall and the physical fall that had happened to Adam and Eve. Kaya 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ wanted to start a new beginning by changing our way of connection to God. From becoming a master, from becoming a Lord, to become a parent. Kaya ang education sa atin ni Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago is when we look at God, we should look at Him as our parent. Kaya sabi niya, our Father. This is how you should pray. It should not be Master. It should not be Lord. But it should be my Father. Kaya sabi niya, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as well as in heaven. That is the quest of Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. But instead of people looking at or learning from it, okay, they question and they even crucify Jesus Christ. Kaya from 2,000 years ago, nagkaroon siya ng promise that I will come again. For what purpose? It is to restore the original standard of the family, to restore the ideal of God's eternal love, and to restore the original standard of family to be a model to all human being. Now, once again, magkaroon ng original marriage centering on God, and through the marriage of Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, dapat dito magsimula ang pagbibigay ng blessing ni God. And we all know that this was not realized and this was not established because Jesus Christ was crucified and even sent to death without any partner. Okay? And because of this, at this point in time, we needed to restore back. Okay? We needed to go through the providence of restoration. Okay? Kaya nga, Jesus Christ find another person to start a new beginning. After 2,000 years, there is one person who wanted to start a new tradition. Wanted to offer his entire life for the sake of recreating the family of God. And that's no other than what we call the true parents of humankind nowadays. So the true parents and the traditions of blessing, they are the one who will show us a model of a true man and true woman and true relationship of marriage. Nang relationship is not only till death do us part, but eternal relationship of man and woman. Okay? Para sa magkaroon tayo ng makita natin yung standard of a true marriage, and we can see that possible pala, pwede pala magkaroon ng true parents. Okay? Centering on the model of a true parents, and that will also be the start of the tradition of the blessing. Kaya nga kung titignan natin, the most important activity of our true parents is giving the blessing. And ang pinamana rin sa atin ni na true parents is for us to share the blessing. Kaya nga, ang ultimate position natin is to become tribal messiah. To reconnect our tribe, because we cannot invite true parents to our tribe to do the blessing for us. We have to be responsible. Kaya nga, binigay sa atin ni Father yung blessing. Okay? Blessing to inherit first our connection to God. And then after that, expand it to our own tribe. Kaya sabi ni Father, the blessing ceremony of the Unification Church is not simply a wedding through which a man and a woman come together and form a family. Until now, all weddings were solely for the sake of people getting married. But our wedding ceremony is significant and necessary to set a condition to indemnify the past and return joy to God. Therefore, we conduct our ceremonies in sacred and splendid manner. Divine principle clearly explain to us that our wedding ceremony alleviates God's bitter grief that was caused by the fall of Adam and Eve. Okay? Kaya nga, every time na nagbibigay tayo ng blessing, every time na meron tayong nababless, okay, na i-reconnect kay God, na babawasan yung suffering ni God. Kaya ganun na lang yung pakiusap even ni True Mother sa atin ngayon. Na even just 30% of the world's population, we have to offer it to God. We have to reconnect them to God. Kasi starting from that, we can create a community. From that community, it can influence a nation. Okay? Kaya yun yung na-receive natin na blessing. It is not just simply meeting of a man and a woman, but it is the starting point of reconnecting ourselves to God. The starting point of God can see us to be in a manner of uniting together, not because of the influence of Satan, but it is because of the preparation that our true parents have given to us. Kaya nga, kung titignan natin, lalo na tayo mga first generation, di ba? We are being matched by our true parents. Okay? Pero sa ngayon, tayo na rin mag-match sa mga next generation natin, sa mga second generation natin. And not only our second generation, di ba? Even our tribe. We are the one who will prepare our tribe to receive the blessing from God. Kaya nga, ang goal din natin is lahat ng mga tribe member natin, they should also be receive the blessing. And all single, they should not be looking for the partner, but we should help them to understand God's plan and God's purpose of marriage. And that is the value of the blessing. Kaya nga, the blessing is the most precious thing lost in the Garden of Eden. Ano yung nawala? It is the lineage of God. And through the long course of history, the central focus of God and the central concern of his heart was the reestablishment of his lineage in his children. Without his lineage, God cannot stand as the parent or owner of humanity and all creation. Because we all know that when we talk about lineage, it determines ownership. Kaya the original purpose of marriage is to inherit God's love, creatorship, and lordship through our true parents. Without true parents, there's been no way to inherit everything of true parents. Therefore, we can say that has been no true marriage. True marriage became possible after the establishment of the true parents who became one with God in heart. So until today, Satan controlled the sphere of love. Therefore, marriage became the entrance to hell instead of entrance to the heavenly kingdom. Kaya nga minsan, di ba? Sinasabi na, naku, nabuntis na naman. Okay? May bata na namang nabuntis. Instead na matuwa tayo, nanghinayang tayo. Why? Because it is the entrance of people to constantly influence or to expand the foundation of Satan. That's why we needed to connect people and we have to let people meet our true parents. Because this is the most precious thing that happens into our life, becoming one or living together with our true parents. And not only that, but ultimately receiving the blessing. Okay, so the blessing of marriage originally would have been given at the time of the fulfillment of one's responsibility. That is being written in the book of Genesis chapter 2 verse 17. And we all know that the fall occurred by marriage centered on Satan at the top of the growth stage. Restoration is accomplished by marriage centered on God at the top of the growth stage. Okay, the blessing has a meaning of rebirth rather than original marriage for the first generation. Sa ating mga first generation who directly inherit the fall that comes from Satan. But for the second generation na naging fruit of the blessing na na-receive natin kay true parents, they are the one that will inherit the lineage of God. And they will be the one to expand the lineage of God. Kaya for first generation, rebirth is the meaning of the blessing. Rebirth centered on the Messiah is through receiving the blessing, and that is also the way to liquidate our original sin or to remove our original sin. But for second generation, pag sinabi nating blessing, it is the inheritance of a God-centered marriage. And not only inheritance, but it is the expansion of the lineage of God. So through the blessing, we can stand in the position to inherit true love from true parents as their children and establish the relationship of a parent and child. So true parents takes eternal responsibility for blessed members, taking care of them and instructing them even in the spiritual world. Kaya nga even si true mother ngayon, okay? True father is constantly guiding true mother to continue to expand. Di ba ang sabi ni father, tribal. Pero anong inano ni mother? It is the proclamation of natapos ng tribe, kaya we have to go out from the tribe and we have to build a God-centered community. Okay? And ultimately, we can establish one nation. And pagpatuloy na ma-expand yung foundation na nilay ni na true parents centering on the blessing, and we would continuously expand the blessing and influence others to receive the blessing. Okay, that's the time that we can make this world to be back to God's creation or God's world or what we call the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Kaya nga, kung titignan din natin, laging sinasabi na pag sinabi nating blessing, ang pinaka-main significant nito is to change our blood lineage. Kaya nga sabi ni Jesus Christ, diba, in the book of John chapter 3 verse 3, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born anew, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Unless na mapalitan yung lineage natin, we cannot see the kingdom of God here on earth. Kaya ang pinaka-main goal natin is to be cleansed through transforming our blood lineage or changing our blood lineage from satanic lineage to God's lineage. And we can only do that through our true parents. Having a new set of parents wherein we could inherit a new set of tradition and culture of a relationship of man and woman. Kaya true parents are the one who will establish a new relationship as a parent and child. And also, this is the basic principle of change of blood lineage. We must be born anew from sinless parents to become sinless children of God. And we call these sinless parents as the true parents of humankind. That's why, ang pinaka-endpoint ng lahat ng ginagawa ni na true parents is for them to receive, for them to give the blessing to the people. Because that is the only way to change our lineage, to cleanse our stained lineage. And ultimately, through our effort of constantly relating with one another and practicing harmonious relationship with one another, that's the time that we can eliminate the original sin and ultimately we can establish a God-centered family by letting our children see a good relationship of husband and wife. Apart from sa nakita nila Cain at saka si Abel sa kanilang parents. Kaya nga, because of the improper relationship of Adam and Eve, modeling of Adam and Eve, Okay? Si Cain at Abel, nagkaroon ng first murder happen in human history. Okay? Kaya kung titignan natin, we as first generation, we are the one who will start a new beginning. Kaya we will be the one who will receive rebirth so that our next generation will be born from where? Not from Satan anymore, but it will be coming from the lineage of God. And that is the purpose of and the significance and value of the blessing that we have received. Kaya nga, napakahaba ng proseso actually, kung titignan natin. Okay? Saan ba magsimula ang proseso ng blessing? Hindi naman yung matching eh. Ang starting point is we have to be qualified first as a candidate. Okay? Unang-una is nandoon yung education. Education and application of what we have learned from the principle. Kaya nga meron dati, 'di ba, meron yung 3 years. 3 years missionary life. Okay? 3 years as a witnesser, as a fundraiser, para sa ganun totally na ma-overcome natin yung sarili natin. And those are the preparation that we have. Na ito yung sinasabing education or education part. And then after that, when we are ready, centering on our age capacity, okay? If I remember, dati 21 hanggang ngayon 21 pa rin naman, no? That's the time that you can apply. You can be qualified and you can start to apply for the blessing. And then after you have applied for the blessing, pag na-match ka na, next is mandoon yung tinatawag nating engagement process. I-introduce sa'yo yung partner mo. And then after that, you will communicate and then make a commitment and then work for your complete harmonious relationship together. And then after that, that's the time that we will be receiving the blessing from our two parents and ultimately raise our family as a God-centered family. Kaya kung titignan natin, napakahaba ng proseso. Okay? Meron pa nga yung parang may shortcut, pero actually we all gone through these 3 stages of preparation for the blessing process. Okay? And then after that, after we receive the blessing, after we commit together that we can join together and we can start a new beginning of a family, that's the time that we go through the blessing. Ng first generation, the starting point of receiving the blessing is cleansing ourselves through drinking the holy wine. Na pag sinabi nating holy wine ceremony, ito yung internal change of blood lineage and then forgiveness of all past sins based on our confession before we receive the blessing. And the second step is blessing ceremony. This is for both first generation and second generation. Now we have to receive the ceremony coming from our two parents. Okay? Sa blessing ceremony, nandiyan yung holy water ceremony, true parents prayer, and then recitation of blessing vow, and then proclamation of the blessing wherein true parents proclaim that this is being blessed by God. And then for first generation, babalik siya sa indemnity ceremony. Indemnity condition for the misuse of love, indemnity condition to remove historical resentment between men and women. Ito yung tinatawag nating tanggam ceremony. Okay. After ng tanggam ceremony, what's next? Okay. We have to reestablish our connection together as brothers and sisters. Yung 40 days separation period. Na ito yung restore invaded growing period, brothers and sister relationship. Restore lost engagement period after the holy wine ceremony as a mother and son relationship. Kaya within this 40-day period, kung ma-remember nyo, there is no romantic relationship with one another. But both of us focus more on vertical connection towards inheriting God's love. And then after that, we will go to the final stage of the blessing. That is the 3-day ceremony. Okay? For first generation, it is a 3-day ceremony. But for second generation, it is the first day ceremony. Na yung first day ceremony, that is already the transition from brothers and sisters to becoming a husband and wife, inheriting the love of God through practicing absolute connection together and eternal commitment of man and woman. Okay? And that's the time that the children, as the fruit of the blessing, the result of the blessing, children will be born without original sin. For first generation, magkaroon ng second generation. Okay? But for second generation, magkaroon ng expansion of God's family and God's children and God's lineage. Okay? So ito yung purpose ng true parents. Actually, kung titingnan natin, before true parents came, this is the purpose why Jesus came 2,000 years ago. To show us a model of becoming a God-centered individual, a God-centered family, and God-centered owner of the whole universe. But sad to say, Jesus Christ was not able to establish. That's why sabi niya, I have to come again. To continue and give opportunity for human being to be reconnected to God's lineage. To recover the family foundation that was lost in the Garden of Eden. Now, once again, we will be aligned towards God's will, and husband and wife will become the manifestation of the masculine and feminine characteristics of God. And through the harmonious relationship of man and woman, practicing a commitment of becoming eternal partner to each other. That's the time that husband and wife will become the substantial image of God here on earth. And ultimately, they will create children, and that is the expansion of God's lineage and God's family here on earth. Ito yung sinasabi nating four-position foundation. Ito yung expansion of God's characteristics from Him to husband and wife, and the children will inherit the same harmonious relationship together. Kaya nga kung titignan natin, after the blessing and after we have completed all the steps of the blessing, we have to follow the three heavenly law. We have to sustain and maintain and protect God's lineage na hindi na maulit, hindi na maipasa ulit. Kaya nga kung titignan natin sa heavenly law, di ba? Number one is do not stain your lineage. Okay? Where in heaven is that you will not stain God's blood lineage, but we have to protect that this is God's blood lineage. Nang ibig sabihin nun, we should not commit again. We should not repeat the failure of Adam and Eve. Most especially Eve, nagkaroon ng dual partner, multiple partner. Okay? And in order for us not to do that, we have to think that do not touch, do not look, and do not think. Kaya yung sinasabi ni Father na high noon standard, no shadow cast. We must be as clear as crystal. Okay? We have to protect God's lineage by protecting our sexual organ. Na pagka once we receive the blessing, it should already, we have to maintain an eternal commitment together. And second is, don't abuse others' heart. The second point is not to infringe upon human right. Na pag sinabi nating abuse other heart, we should not violate others, violate human rights. Ano ba yung human rights? It's not lang yung based on constitutional human rights, but it is our capacity to be reconnected to God and feel joy and happiness living together with God and living together with our brothers and sisters. Kaya anong dapat iwasan natin? Iwasan yung exploitation, discrimination, physical abuse, and even leading towards murder. And the third is don't misuse public property or public property represented by money. Kaya sabi na, third point is to refrain from stealing public money. It means not to use public fund to fulfill selfish desire. Yan. So dapat lahat naman is public fund, public property, environment, no corruption, no stealing, and no pollution. We should not misuse everything that is being created by God. It should be only used in accordance towards experiencing and relating together with our brothers and sisters in accordance to God's purpose and God's plan. Kaya kung titignan natin, ang iniwan sa atin ng true parents is to establish a family tradition at home. How can we sustain and maintain our connection to God? We should establish a prayer room or altar in our house. Okay? And we should always place true parents so that we could always be reminded that we are completely one with our true parents. And in order for us to continuously learn from our true parents, we have to do hondoke every day. Okay? Hindi naman sinasabi na 5 o'clock lang yung hondoke. Kung hindi talaga pwede, pero ang pinakamaganda is in the morning. Pero sabi naman ni Father, it's not always in the morning. Dapat nga every moment of our life, we should be connecting to God. Okay? So another tradition is prayer with birth candles at time of childbirth, and then 8-day dedication ceremony and 103rd day dedication ceremony. And yung blessed family activities, merong public activity, nandiyan ang Sunday service, nandiyan Sunday school. Okay? Family tithing, Thanksgiving donation, holiday donation, special donation. Andiyan na rin yung registration workshop. Okay? Kung tapos ng registration workshop, what's next? It is a continuous learning about our connection to God through constantly reading the divine principle. Kaya nga, di ba, nag-ano si Father na 100 times we have to read the divine principle. An 8 great textbook, we have to constantly read. Okay? And not only that, we have to at least raise the standard of becoming a blessed family to become a tribal Messiah. We have to restore 430. Pero sabi nga ni True Mother, 43. Starting with 43, na itong 43 na to, ito yung maging leader natin na mag-create ng 430. Okay? Na pag sinabi natin 430 na families, these are families who have completed the 5 steps of the blessing, including receiving and understanding the blessing that they have received. So it's not enough na magbigay lang ng blessing, that's already it. Dapat magkaroon din ng continuous education so that we could raise them also to become tribal Messiah. And that is the blessing that we have received. It started by our true parents, they expanded with their children, not only from their children, but even to members who understand God's heart and understand the value of reestablishing a new tradition of marriage centering on 36 couples, 1960, and then 124 couples, 430 couples, 777 couples, 1,800 couples, and then nag-expand pa into 6,000 couples, 6,500. And then 1992, nagkaroon ng worldwide centering on 30,000 couples. Okay? From 30,000 couples, nagkaroon ng 360,000 couples worldwide. 1995, and then nagkaroon ng cosmic blessing. Nag-start ang cosmic blessing with a 3.6 million and ended in 40 million couples in 1997, wherein both the physical world and spiritual world together. Kaya dito na nag-start yung liberation natin. And then from that, from single couples, nagkaroon ng renewal of marriage vow centering on rededication ceremony of a married couples. Na ito ngayon yung ginagamit natin in terms of our tribe to receive the blessing. Renewal of their marriage vow and then rededicate their family not only for them but it is for the establishment of God-centered family. So true parents gave us all of these things. The authority to constantly expand the foundation of the blessing that they've given to us. Kaya nga ang iniwan niyang mission natin before he went to the spirit world, before Father went to the spirit world is yung tinatawag nating tribal Messiah. Actually, hindi lang naman during the 20th century na sinabi ni 21st century na sinabi ni Father yon. Okay? Ito yung ang simula nito yung sinasabi ni Father proclamation niya before na establishment of home church. Okay? Na yung home church na yun sana yung foundation na tutuntungan natin para sa ganun magkaroon tayo ng ma-establish natin yung strong foundation for tribal messiahship sa ngayon. Na ito yung establishment, ito rin yung maging foundation for the establishment of Holy Parent, Holy Community through through expanding the blessing that we have received. Kaya ito yung laging sinasabi ni True Mother na we have to focus on fulfilling our tribal messiahship, because that is the ultimate responsibility of every blessed family. So it's not limited to receiving the blessing, but we have to share and we have to expand the blessing that we have to receive. And diyan natin masabi that we inherited the foundation of our true parents. So I hope that with that we have na-refresh tayo sa value and significance of the blessing and why do we need to fulfill our tribal Messiah. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much, Brother Randy. So, yes, it is a reminder again to us, our portion of responsibility. And then it reminds us with our identity as blessed member. So, we are still far away sa aming mission. So, pero one thing that really me, even I myself, I know na malayo pa ako sa mission, pero keep hoping na at least I have a desire also to fulfill my mission, most especially in giving blessing to my tribe. So most especially now, True Mother declared that you have to focus on your tribe. So every holidays now here in Korea, we need to spend it with our relatives so that we can bring them to the blessing. So that's my ultimate goal this time, na at least I and my sister this time, one of us can go on, could start our Chonbo family too. So for me, I'm pushing my sister because it is more easy for her because Kuya Arthur already also liberated their ancestors. So both I in my side, in our side, and my sister husband, they are all fulfilled their 430 blessing and liberation and blessing of our ancestors. So only the thing they need to do is that fulfilling the 430. So I just want to support her first before because for me it's hard for me because my husband is still far away. So and then it much money I need in liberating the ancestors and blessing the ancestors of my husband. So ayaw din naman niyang magpa-liberate na wala siyang dalang pera. And ever since that we liberated and blessed her, his ancestors, siya lagi ang nagre-represent talaga. So yeah, thank you so much for the reminder for this yung significance of our blessing. Really, when we receive the blessing, I myself, I know na that time I'm not matured enough. So but through keep going, connecting to the church, keep, even though the Korean is so difficult, trying to understand. So yun nga yung sinasabi nila na as you continue to connect yourself to the church, even though you don't understand, but through that true heart na you went in the church, you really grow. So that's what I learned. So whatever the difficulties that I encountered here, so one thing that I always put in my mind, my purpose here, I have a purpose here. So that then this time I'm still hoping again to bring also so actually when I yun nga yung lalong-lalo na yung message kanina na husband and wife must be one talaga to bring victory to true parents. So sa akin kasi, I have difficulties in dealing with my in-laws because they are really pure Christians. So when I asked my husband that let's witness yung mga kapatid niya and as well as nephew and niece. So he said that wag ko daw silang pakialaman kasi iba yung paniniwala nila. So masakit man, pero I'm still hoping na someday my husband will also open his heart na we can witness them talaga. So that's my my reflection. And again, thank you so much for the reminder. Okay. Okay, mga sisters, if you have any reflection or want to say, please feel free to talk. Ate Miriam, I think Ate Miriam first.
Okay, good evening, Brother Randy. Thank you very much for the reminder. Good evening, sisters. Yeah, the principle is very is great. Kung may isa sa buhay lang, napakaganda ng magiging result ng family ba. Kaya lang is really so sorry that, yeah, before receiving the blessing, nandun yung immaturity. Kaya sa ngayon, parang, of course, hindi naman huli pa ang lahat, pero siguro ang pinakamahirap kasi is the relationship between husband and wife. Kung sabi nga dun sa lecture kanina, saan ba ko narinig yung lecture kanina, na talagang magiging success ng relationship ng husband and wife is by knowing the divine principle, by accepting the divine principle and accepting true parents. Kaya really life in Korea is not easy because of that. Yeah, siguro in the Philippines, masasabi ko na husband and wife, they are both following the way of true parents. So that's why they really have a very good result of the second generation. So kung nung time ni Adam and Eve was kidnapped. So pwede rin natin sabihin that the second generation also was kidnapped. And also pwede rin natin sabihin na ang masakit diyan is yung nandun na yung rebirth na tinatawag based on yung lecture that supposedly the second generation will be the one to inherit that blessing. Pero hindi nangyayari actually. So yun ang masakit ba? Kaya really in our life, marami tayong gagawin ba? Yung spouse natin, yung mga anak natin, tapos yung ating tribes. Kaya really, pero sige lang, dahan-dahan. The most important is we really have to continue to move on. Kasi syempre nung unang panahon hindi naman natin alam na ganito pala ang buhay. Sabi ko nga nung unang panahon, wala naman kaming alam na may blessing pala nung unang panahon. Ang alam lang namin is just only to follow true parents, to follow the Messiah. Pero this is already the blessing that we have. Kaya really time is so precious. Lumalapas lang yung panahon na I didn't do anything. Masasabi mo may ginagawa ka pero yung talagang accomplishment ng life. Kasi ang pinakang accomplishment kasi ng buhay is not you restore a lot of people. The greatest accomplishment is life is for your family and for our children to receive the blessing. And ang pinaka-importante. Kaya yun talaga ang pagsisimikapan nating lahat ba. So thank you for the reminder. Thank you very much.
Thank you din ate.
Na-off ko pala. Mga sisters, anyone who wants to say something? Baka gusto niyong mag-share. Ah. So actually, your lecture is really true, most especially, I remember for the previous years, yung panahon ng mga magulang natin na parents na din noon ang nagmamat sa kanila. So it really comes back again. So here in Korea too. So ang hirap ngayon ng blessing ng mga second gen ngayon. So as yun nga yung sabi nga nila yung Moksanim namin dito last time na nung nagkon kami last Tuesday, for the success of the blessing of your children, you have to give devotion, and then really you have to put yourself down. So ibig sabihin talagang nandoon talaga yung 100% na you have to low down your your pride, ganyan. So you have to be humble na ganon, kasi lahat people are kumbaga kung sino man yung magiging mamat sa anak mo, so they have to syempre ngayon dito, lalong-lalo na dito sa Korea, kung gusto mo na ang anak mo dito is mamats lang din sa Korea, so yung magiging balai mo is magtatanong sa mga kakilala nila daw dito, sabi niyan last time. So we need to really practice yung brotherhood and sisterhood sa church natin, kasi really in the church also, so yung teaching ni True Father is really ideal. What is that? Yung one family under God, no discrimination. Pero so far we are far enough sa ganung teaching ni True Father. So we are still learning. So I myself, I'm so sorry for it. Pero now I learned a lesson. So I start with my family. So I have to focus talaga sa aking pamilya na I still want to what is that, to continue my hope na I can also witness na kung hindi man ako magiging dito sa mga in-laws ko dito, at least meron akong family in the Philippines that I can build, and I can bring them to the blessing and really accept also true parents as the second advent. So yun, so napakahirap ang blessing talaga dito sa Korea ngayon. So kaya nga still, but yun nga yung sabi nila, we should not give up, because True Mother, habang nandito si True Mother give us a lot of chances, and then she made a way in every problem that we have, just like the problem of second gen. So there are so many ways na ginawa niya ngayon para lang ma-save yung mga second gen, because True Mother said na as second gen born, so we cannot deny the fact that their status as the second gen. So we still need to save them, whatever their status in life, pero we need to bring them back to the bosom of our true parents and God. So yun yung kanila. Okay, thank you so much. And mga sisters, if you want to say something, anybody wants to talk, please. And then if Deans, Juliet, and then Rowena. So siguro no one wants to talk. So anyway, thank you so much, Brother Randy, and thank you so much, dear sisters. So we hope that all the blessings that we received today, we can also share it to our loved ones, most especially to our family. Thank you so much. Okay, siguro brother, so you can close it with prayer.
Okay, so kung wala na po, yeah, it's really now time for us to stand as blessed families. No? So before we have our photo ops, let's please join me in prayer first so that we can offer everything that we have to Heavenly Parent, true parents. Our most beloved Heavenly Parents, the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Once again, Father, you have expressed your love to us through by allowing us to understand how valuable and how precious the blessing that you have given to us, to our two parents, not only for us but most especially for you, Father. That last centering on the blessing that we have received, you could call us as your children, and you could claim us as your children as well, and our children to be claimed by you as your the member of your family that you have been longing for and that you have been looking for and waiting for 6,000 years, that only this time that we were able to become part of it and we could take part of it, and through the effort of our two parents giving us and allowing us to experience your love and your presence centering the blessing. I pray, Father, that we could not only look at it as a special gift, but most especially as a special responsibility in order for us to recreate this world and make this world become your dwelling place once again, and we could see the kingdom of heaven in the near future. So, Father in heaven, I know that you are not stopping even though we have so many shortcomings and limitation, but still you are still giving us opportunity to recollect ourselves, to redirect ourselves, centering on uh, our the guidance of our two parents and the continuous um, love and expression of love of our true mother by continuously guiding us how we could really make a way in order for our next generation to enjoy everything that you have created. Thank you, Father, for this unending love and for your continuous uh, gift unto us, most especially the precious gift of life, in order for us to maintain and sustain and do our responsibility to reach out to our brothers and sisters and be reconnected to you by fulfilling our responsibility to become a tribal Messiah. Thank you, Father, for everything. And may you please continuously uh, look after us so that we could always be guided by you and we could always remember you and we could always make our connection, because at this time Satan is constantly influencing and trying to block us in order for the in order for us to become successful in our endeavor and most especially in our mission to make this world become the kingdom of heaven. Thank you, Father. May you please accept all of these things as we offer and report this in your name, Randy and Ria, my blessed family. Aju.
Thank you so much, brother.
Okay, so can we open our camera po for the documentation? Yan si Zoom user. Kindly open po para
Sisters, kung pwedeng ma-open yung camera nyo. Kung pwede.
okay, 1, 2, 3. And
사랑합니다.
pause for a moment. Okay, one more time po. One more. Let's offer a heart.
Okay.
Heart, heart. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Pause lang po para ma-capture. And then last po na picture. Sungni,
Sungni.
Sungni. 1, 2, 3. And okay, so Ayan po, maraming salamat and see you again next meeting. That would be 12 ngayon.
Kailan Ate Miriam?
Supposedly kasi sa 26, kaya lang mukhang busy ang 26.
Bakit?
I will be going to Seoul.
Tayo.
Yes.
26. Makakarating naman tayo siguro ng ganong oras, te.
So how about kung gawin natin Saturday?
25 ate.
Ayos lang kayo mga sisters, 25? Kung ayos lang lahat ng 25, pwede din naman. Ayos lang mga kapatid.
Ay, may 25, may klase kami ng 25.
Aha.
Mhm.
Mm.
7
Ayos lang
to
siguro ng
10.
26, ate. Ayos lang siguro ng 26. Makakarating naman na tayo ng 8:00 niyan.
Mm.
Or
Kung gawin
19,
gawin nating 19 na
19.
lang
Next Sunday.
next Sunday.
Mm. Okay, agree ba lahat?
Next
Baka-
Sunday na.
Ayos lang kayo mga kapatid? Ayos lang, Dins? Jo?
Okay
Weng?
lang.
Weng?
Oh, okay, Grace.
Ayos lang, Weng?
Okay lang po, te.
Okay. So, 19 na siguro. Okay, ayos lang. Okay,
Okay,
okay naman sila. Okay, 19.
Okay,
Kung
19.
available ka, Brother Randy. Kung ayos lang din sa iyo.
Okay po, 19.
Si
Bakante
Okay.
naman po ako ng
Si
gabi.
Beth ba? Okay lang sa kanya ang 19, Beth? Si Beth.
Ate Beth?
Lang sa akin.
Okay. Thank you, te.
So sa
Okay
19 ulit
po.
tayo,
So see you
Okay,
sa
thank
next
you very
Sunday,
much.
See you.
19.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night po.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.